Now, gold and silver is down. Surely countries wouldn't be loading the boat right now by the ton, including last month, because gold and silver were still not exactly doing great last month either. There's no way that there's still massive demand for gold by countries right now. No way. Gold's not money. Ben Bernanke said so. Gold is not money. It's just a tradition that they store gold at central banks. That's all. And as Ron Paul said, well, why not store diamonds? Some, jewelry. Some diamonds. Well, it's just tradition that we use gold instead. Oh, okay. Central banks still significant buyers on gold dip. Central banks internationally continue to diversify their foreign exchange reserves into gold bullion due to concerns about fiat currencies, including the dollar and especially the euro. IMF data shows that central banks were again net buyers in April, with Turkey and the Philippines being the largest buyers of gold. So now we've got Turkey and the Philippines out of nowhere, including the regular players that have come up over the last 2 and 3 years. So add them to the list. The Philippines increased their gold holdings significantly by 32 tons to a total of 194 tons in March. Well, a 17% increase in their gold reserves in the month. It was the single largest addition the Philippines has made since September of 2008. They have been pretty consistent buyers of gold over the last few years, but the 17% increase in April was another big rise. Turkey expanded its gold reserves by 29 metric tons in April. Turkey's bullion reserves climbed to 239 tons last month, meaning that Turkey increased their gold reserves by 14% in April. The central bank on March 27th doubled the share of lira reserve banks can hold in gold to 20%, saying it would provide 6.1 billion liras or 3.3 billion of extra liquidity. Mexico increased gold holdings by almost 3 tons to a total of 125 tons in April. Kazakhstan raised gold holdings by 2 tons, bringing theirs to 98 tons in April. The Ukraine upped gold reserves by 1.5 tons to 30 tons in April. Sri Lanka raised gold reserves by 2.1 tons to a total of almost 8 tons in January. There is a delay in Sri Lanka gold reserve reporting to the IMF. Whatever. Central banks added 456 tons last year, the most in almost 5 decades, and will buy as much as 400 tons this year, the London-based World Gold Council estimates. You know what I think? What OJ Snip 4's estimates are going to be on this one? And it's just my opinion. Nothing more, nothing less. Is that when we look at the data next year and says how much the countries and central banks of the world bought, it will surpass that of last year of 456 or whatever, not the 400 that they think they'll do this year. I think it's going to go much higher this year. As the economies falter and that sort of thing starts taking place, you're going to see people run into gold, including countries, central banks, more and more and more. So the World Gold Council, or whoever the bozos are, well, last year there was a record, 456. We haven't seen that in 50 years. But this year we actually think that will settle down and go down to about, we're estimating about 400 tons. Yet every year it keeps rising. 2009, 2010, 2011, now 2012, breaking records in the quarterly and monthly thing. Come on. And they're going to say 400 tons. Get the hell out of here. It's going to probably break that record. If it doesn't, I'll be surprised. But based off of what will be happening, if that did happen and they didn't beat the record, I think next year would set a new record. But that remains to be seen. The bottom line, countries and central banks are buying gold with both freaking hands as fast as they can. This dip is a bonus. We don't have the data for this dip right now. Gold down to 15, whatever, 15, 60, 70, 80. Silver hovering around 28, 27, 28. We don't even know what the data is. We're going to have to wait a month or 2 or 3 to figure out, well, which central banks bought back in April, in May, or actually May, because we're in May. oh my God, it was even better than April, etc. That's what's guaranteed in my opinion because of what I'm seeing. So are you nervous? Are you scared? Are you ready to go sell your gold and silver all of a sudden because the prices are low and you think these guys are just going to retain this control over the rest of us forever? Nothing lasts forever, and evil will go away once light is shined upon it. Once it is exposed, it goes away. Doesn't mean it goes away immediately, but the process starts occurring. And as we've seen with the CFTC now investigating JP Morgan, Securities and Exchange Commission also investigating JP Morgan on an unrelated thing based on their loss the other day, not related to silver manipulation, etc. We've got the Dodd-Frank Act with position limit rules, right? All this stuff is going to play out eventually. And most likely in the next couple of years, all this stuff should be set in stone. Will we get to this couple years before all this blows up? Anyways, I don't know. But as someone commented just recently on my last video, it was a good comment, and he or she basically said, you know, you shouldn't care what these little dips and ups and downs. Are you an investor or are you a speculator? If you're a speculator, get the hell out of here. Sell your silver, do whatever you want, do your day trading. If you are an investor, keep listening to Snip 4, keep stacking gold and silver. Who cares about the intermediate price today, next week? It's back up to 16, 1700, back down to 1500. Oh my gosh, 1900, new record. This is just, again, this is a blink of an eye of a timeline, and people are focusing literally on the second hand ticking. Not the minute hand, not the hour hand, but the second hand of the clock ticking. Oh, it's up, it's down, it's up, it's down, it's up, it's down, it's down, it's down, it's down, it's back up, it's down. What are you doing? You're not even focusing on the minute hand, much less the hour hand. And I'm trying to tell you about the hour hand, which is a few years. And everyone's focusing day to day. I don't get people emailing me, by the way, saying, hey, you know, but I see it elsewhere. People, you know, that maybe I speak to about it at work or whatever, and they don't really follow it too much. They don't really care, but they heard it was down today, so they want to go run to me as if, you know, hey, I thought you said gold and silver was good. Yeah, of course it is. Have you seen what it's done over the last 10 years? Have you seen what it's done when the stock market was diving? And the non-recovery, that we haven't been back to the high of the stock market. We've already destroyed the world record high for gold, and we've touched the record high for silver, and even that record high was a manipulation by the Hunt brothers in 1980 or 81 or whatever, 1980 I think. It was manipulated high. Gold was never manipulated. Silver was. Having said that, the ratio of gold to silver, historical, 16 to 1, maybe 20 to 1, somewhere in that range. We're at 55 to 1 roughly right now. Not that long ago, we were over 60 plus, 65, 70 ratio gold, silver to gold. How many ounces of silver would it take to buy 1 ounce of gold? And meanwhile, gold started rising a lot more than silver, and that ratio, you know, was high at that one point. Now gold's back, you know, back down now, and that ratio has closed the gap a little bit too. So we're down to 55 to 1. I'm telling you, we will be back to somewhere near the historical price or ratio where it belongs, and that'll be somewhere between, we'll call it 15 and 25 to 1 silver to gold, which would mean right now, with the depressed prices in silver, 28 bucks and some change, you would be at roughly $57 an ounce right now, right this second, in this crappy market, if that ratio came back into play. And I'm here to tell you, it is going to come back into play. It has to do with everything that's happening right now. It's going to happen. I don't know when, I don't know how soon, but it will be soon enough to where it really won't matter. You know what I mean? If you kept stacking silver every year, every month, whatever you did, and this took 6-7 years to fully unfold, and we've got $200-300 silver an ounce at that time. Do you know how much silver you will have accumulated right now? $28, $30, $35, all these years it may take to get there. Having said that, I don't think we're going to be waiting 7-8 years for this to all unfold. It's too much is happening now. The euro's blowing up. The US dollar is due to die sometime soon. I just read today also that the Chinese central bank, the People's Bank of China, has now a direct line to the US Treasury, where everyone else who wants to buy bonds, Treasury bonds, or sell them, has to go through one of the brokers that the Treasury lists as legitimate brokers or whatever to sell those bonds, or dealers as they call them, dealers to sell those bonds. China has bypassed that, done a deal with the Treasury itself directly, so we don't know what they're doing until some data comes out later. Normally we can find that out because the dealers, we get to see what they're moving and we know the numbers. So on looking at it, you would think, oh great, so now China, we thought they weren't buying US Treasuries anymore, so they have a direct window to the Treasury and they can buy as much as they want without us knowing. Yes, that's correct. But the data that's been recently released in regards to that, which goes back into the third quarter or so, actually half of or close to the third quarter of last year, when they got this going with the Treasury, China and our Treasury, shows that they were massively net short sellers of those bonds. So now it makes sense that why did the Federal Reserve have to buy 60% of all bond auctions? Because China was unloading them. China already knows our dollar is doomed, we're going to be defaulting on the debt, and we don't want to piss off China, of course, another superpower, so we're letting them know, go ahead and start unloading your bonds. And China is taking that money and buying gold hand over fist. Talk about a win-win situation for China. Holy cow. I gotta go. Take care.